Welcome to a world on the edge, a world where the specter of World War III looms large. We're living in a time of global tension, where the great powers of our day stand on a razor's edge. The geopolitical landscape is a chessboard, with nations maneuvering their pieces, eyeing their opponents with suspicion and wariness. From the frosty relations between the West and the East to the simmering tensions in the Middle East, we're witnessing a high-stakes game of brinkmanship. The stakes? Nothing less than global peace. A wrong move, a single miscalculation could tip the balance, plunging us into a conflict the scale of which we've never seen before. These tensions, these potential flashpoints, could very well be the fuse that lights the powder keg, setting off a chain reaction that spirals into World War III. As we stand at the precipice of potential conflict, let's delve into the predictions and potential scenarios that could spark World War III. Every war begins with a spark, a single event that ignites the flames of conflict. When we look at potential triggers for what could be World War III, we have to consider a variety of factors. The first of these could be territorial disputes. In the past, wars have been fought for land, for resources, and for strategic advantage. Today, we see similar disputes simmering in various parts of the world. The South China Sea, the Arctic, and the Middle East are all areas where tensions over territory could escalate into a larger conflict. Then there is the economic conflict. The world is interconnected like never before, and this brings its own set of challenges. Countries vie for economic dominance, and this can lead to tensions. Trade wars can spiral into real wars, as history has shown us. Economic sanctions can push a country into a corner, and when that happens, they may feel they have no choice but to fight back. Another potential trigger for World War III is cyber warfare. In the digital age, conflicts are no longer confined to the physical world. Cyber attacks can cripple a nation's infrastructure, cause chaos, and even lead to loss of life. The threat of such attacks is an ever-present danger, and the potential for a cyber war to escalate into a full-blown conflict is very real. And let's not forget about the role of political ideologies and nationalism. These have been the cause of many wars in the past, and they continue to divide nations today. The rise of extreme ideologies, both on the left and the right, can lead to conflicts that quickly spiral out of control. In the tinderbox of today's world, these sparks could easily ignite a third world war. Each of these potential triggers is like a match, ready to set the world ablaze. And once the flames of war are lit, they are not easily extinguished. It is up to us to be vigilant, to work towards peace, and to ensure that these sparks never have the chance to ignite. In any war, the battlefields are as important as the combatants themselves. So, when we think about World War III, we must consider where this hypothetical conflict might take place. The possibilities are as diverse as they are daunting. Let's start with traditional battlefields. With the world more interconnected than ever, geopolitical hotspots from the vast expanses of the South China Sea to the rugged terrains of Eastern Europe could become arenas of conflict. But it's not just about the physical location. The nature of the battlefield itself could change. Urban warfare, for instance, could see cities transformed into battlegrounds, with high-rise buildings serving as fortresses and underground networks as hidden passages. But the war could also shift away from the physical world. The cyber realm is a battlefield that's already seeing skirmishes. A global conflict could see cyber attacks escalating, with nations aiming to cripple each other's infrastructure, economies, and defense systems. The implications are chilling. A successful cyber attack could bring a nation to its knees without a single shot being fired on a traditional battlefield. Yet the Earth and the digital space aren't the only potential battlefields. Space, the final frontier, could also become a theater of war. Satellites and space stations could become targets or platforms for launching attacks. The militarization of space could lead to a new arms race, sparking fears of a cosmic battlefield where the stakes are literally astronomical. These potential battlefields, terrestrial, digital, and cosmic, would invariably change the conduct of war. Strategy, weaponry, and tactics would have to adapt to these new arenas. The rules of engagement would have to be rewritten. Warfare would no longer be confined to land, sea, or air. It would become multidimensional, spanning the physical, the digital, and the cosmic. The battlefields of World War III could redefine warfare as we know it. The potential for conflict in these new arenas challenges our understanding of war and peace, pushing us to rethink our strategies and defenses. It's a daunting prospect, but also a reminder of the urgent need for diplomacy, cooperation, and peace. War, as they say, is hell, but the aftermath can be just as devastating. In the wake of World War III's hypothetical conflict, the world as we know it could be forever altered. The aftermath could be a landscape of economic, societal, and geopolitical upheavals, the likes of which we have never seen before. Let's imagine, for a moment, the economic devastation that could come in the wake of this global conflict. World economies, already fragile in many places, could collapse under the weight of warfare. Resources once abundant may become scarce, leading to skyrocketing prices and widespread scarcity. International trade could grind to a halt, leaving nations isolated and forced to rely on their own dwindling resources. Then there's the societal upheaval. Communities could be torn apart by the ravages of war, with homes destroyed and families displaced. The social fabric of nations could be ripped apart, leading to civil unrest and perhaps even the rise of radical ideologies. Education, healthcare, and other essential social services could be drastically affected, creating a generation marked by the scars of war. And what of the geopolitical landscape? A global power shift could occur, with some nations rising from the ashes while others fall. The balance of power could be tipped, leading to a new world order. Established alliances could crumble and new ones could form out of necessity and survival. The aftermath of World War III could also force us to confront some hard truths about our world. It could expose the fragility of our global systems, the inequities that exist within and between nations, and the true cost of conflict. It could serve as a stark reminder of the importance of diplomacy, the value of peace, and the need for global cooperation. Indeed, the potential aftermath of World War III is a sobering thought. It's a scenario we hope never comes to pass. Yet, it's a possibility we must consider and plan for, because World War III could leave an indelible mark on the world, one that could take generations to heal. Even in the shadow of war, there is always the hope of peace. Picture this: world leaders gathered around a table, not to declare war, but to prevent it. That's the power of diplomatic negotiations. In the face of escalating tensions, diplomacy becomes our first line of defense. It's not about who has the bigger army or the most nuclear weapons. It's about conversation, understanding, and compromise. The power of words should never be underestimated. They can start wars, but they can also end them. Now, let's take a moment to consider the role of economic cooperation. In a world where economies are increasingly entwined, the cost of war is too high for any one country to bear. Trade, investment, and mutual economic growth can create a bond that's stronger than any political alliance. When countries are economically dependent on each other, they're less likely to engage in conflict. It's not just about making money, it's about making peace. But perhaps the most radical and promising approach to preventing World War III is global disarmament. Imagine a world where nuclear weapons are a thing of the past, where armies are reduced and military spending is redirected towards education, healthcare, and infrastructure. It's a lofty goal, no doubt, but not an impossible one. It requires trust, transparency, and a shared commitment to peace. It's a long road, but one worth traveling. As we ponder on these possibilities, let's not forget the human element. Peace isn't just about policies and treaties. It's about people. It's about fostering a global culture of respect, empathy, and understanding. It's about teaching our children that violence is not the answer, that there are always alternatives. While the threat of World War III is real, there is always the hope that diplomacy, cooperation, and peace can prevail. And that's a hope we must never let go of. Because in the end, our future is not written by fate, but by us, by our actions and our choices, and we have the power to choose peace. In the end, the future is not written in stone. We've journeyed down the uncertain path of hypothetical conflicts, examining the potential sparks of war, the possible battlefields and the aftermaths that could follow. We've traced the road to peace, a challenging yet rewarding journey that humanity can choose to take. The prospect of a third world war is a chilling thought, yet it's crucial to remember that these are mere predictions, not certainties. Our future is not predestined and World War III is not inevitable. Instead, our future is a canvas waiting to be painted by our collective actions. The power of choice still lies with us. It's in the diplomatic conversations we foster, the treaties we forge, the understanding we cultivate. Every step towards peace, no matter how small, is a step away from the precipice of conflict. While we may stand on the brink of potential conflict, the power to change the future is still in our hands. Let's hope that we choose the path of peace over war.